Hello, everyone. Hope you're keeping safe. Hope you're keeping sane. Sorry for the poor sound quality and the fact that I'm actually filming outside. And that's the reason I want to talk to you all today. Apart from one big upcoming video, which I also really want to talk to you about, which I think is going to be quite a biggie. The reason I'm recording outside is because, as a lot of you, particularly you with kids, will know, it's currently the Easter holidays. And obviously, I came back and I decided I was going to start making more videos, start doing a lot more with this channel again, start ramping it up a little bit. Explain my reasons why, etc., etc. And then suddenly I've disappeared and not made any videos for a while. And the reason being is because it's Easter holidays. There's maybe people at home who I don't necessarily want to hear me making these videos. Is this because I'm ashamed of my past? Well, yes, of course I'm ashamed of my past with regards to my addiction and regards to the effect it's had on my life and the lives of the people that are closest to me. Is it because I don't want them to know about my past? Is it because I don't want them to know about my experience with gambling and the harm that is done to me? And that would be an absolute massive no. I think it's incredibly important, and going back to the reason for this channel, I think it's incredibly important that certainly for the people nearest to you, you share your experiences with things like gambling. And it might not be gambling, it might be other negative behaviors, might be other addictions, might be other things that you get into, which with hindsight you wish you hadn't. Because it is those with experience and those who have maybe suffered the consequences of their actions that are maybe best placed to advise those who are at risk of falling into the traps and the same routines and the same ruts that I did. So why don't I want to record videos when but let's be honest, my stepdaughter is about? Well, it's not because I don't want to talk to her about gambling. I really do. And I want to talk to her about gambling on my terms. And I want to talk to her about gambling at a time that is suitable and a time that is, relevant. And why do I want to do that? Excuse me. Well, two reasons. Firstly, I think little and often, sometimes when it comes to younger people, is the best form of education. If I was to sit her down and give her a lecture as to the evils of gambling, if I was to give her access to this channel and let her watch hours and hours of OnlyFill content, not only would it send her to sleep, no doubt, but also it's likely to go in one ear and out the other. I've already had a sip. We know from experience, and something I've spoken about before, that if you give a young person advice to don't do this, don't do that, this is bad, this will cause this will do the utmost harm to your life, you'll get addicted, you'll do this, it doesn't work. We all had those lectures at school, didn't we, about alcohol, about drugs, etc., etc. Not only do you kind of go, well, these are just old people, they don't know what they're talking about, I'll live my own life. But also, I think, and more critically, is that quite often when you're told that a particular behaviour will be to your ultimate detriment, when you're told about the extreme danger and extreme damage that certain behaviours and addictions can instill on you, and then you do the thing anyway, because let's face it, you're young and you're rebellious and you think you want to make your own way in life, and you don't get that real negative feedback. Sometimes you might even get a positive feedback. Then you just dismiss that advice as complete nonsense. We're all told that alcohol is particularly harmful for you. We're all told that smoking will give you horrible diseases and lead to premature death. We are told that illicit drugs will cause X, Y, Z horrible things. We're told about people hallucinating, jumping off buildings, and all this sort of stuff that I'm sure you remember, we were told as kids. But if you go out and have a few beers with your mates, you might think, well, actually, I'm fine. I don't feel the necessity to do it the next day. It hasn't done me any harm. In fact, I had a great night. It enhanced my experience. Maybe you smoke or vape or whatever and nothing immediate comes of it. You don't have any negative health implications and suddenly you think, well, they're just talking nonsense. What are they talking about? You take drugs once or twice and you're fine and nothing bad happens. In fact, again, it enhances your experience and you have a great time. So you immediately dismiss all the negative advice, all the advice about how bad this thing can be. You dismiss it out of hand and you kind of go, well, I know best, I'll crack on, I'll live my own life. So your advice has fallen on deaf ears. It's fallen on stony ground. It's done no good at all. So I would rather just be honest as and when the opportunity arises. If there's a gambling advert on telly and she'll ask me about it. If we're in a seaside town and there's an arcade and there's a big prize being advertised in the adult section of an arcade, I'll talk to her about it. I'll try and give her my honest opinion, my honest advice, my honest experience about how the industry works, how gambling works, how, look, we're going to be cliched here, how there is only one winner. But I'll do that at opportune times when it seems appropriate. Hopefully, that little and often method of talking about it will ultimately pay better dividends than sort of sitting there down and going, right, listen to me. This is why gambling is bad. This is what will happen if you gamble. It will ruin your life. Yes, that would be true. Yes, ultimately, to some people, that is the best way to talk about it. But I think to younger people, particularly when they're finding their way in the world, and ultimately they're going to be rebellious and they're going to want to experience things firsthand for themselves, I think maybe the little and often approach is better. So ultimately, that is why I've not let on to her that I make these videos, and I don't want her to be there when I'm making these videos, her to look me up and then find out all about my past. I am open and honest about my past if she asks. I'll give her advice and I'll tell her where that advice comes from if it's relevant. But I don't necessarily feel there's any benefit in her watching hours of my content, not that she would, about me telling you why gambling will ultimately ruin your life. But anyway, let's talk about a big thing I've got coming up. Well, it might be a big thing, it might be a terrible thing, who knows, right? As the thumbnail and maybe the title of this video will allude to, I'm going to do another Q&A. It's been a long, long time since I did a Q&A. In fact, it's been, to be fair, let's face it, it's been quite a while since I did videos. Um, and I want to do another Q&A. Now, this could be about anything. It really can. Again, I said, call it like an Ask Me Anything. It could be about gambling. It could be about me personally. I've always tried to be a bit of an open book on this channel. I've always tried to, as best as possible, explain my own sort of situation with things and be open and honest with you guys about my life. I'm sure you guys know a lot more about my life than people I spend a lot more time with. Certain types of questions I won't answer. Some I won't bother with if there's something I've answered a million times before because I'm pointing in the direction of other videos. If it's something that's super offensive and super personal and it's just kind of a rhetorical thing, obviously I'm not going to bother answering that. But again, if it's a personal question, I don't mind answering it because I think even if it's something that doesn't feel like it's directly related to gambling, sometimes your lifestyle and sometimes the way you are can feed into an addiction. So I don't think those questions are necessarily irrelevant. Also, they might be things you're interested about, So ask away. If it's about gambling, of course, ask that. It's something that I've always been an open book about. And if it's something that I think can help other people, I'll do that. Now, it's going to be probably till next weekend until I can make another video. So depending on how many questions I get, it might be one long video. I might split it into chunks. I might even do both, maybe for the YouTube algorithm. Yeah, I'm out of work now. I thought I might mention that. So yeah, I might do that, but we'll see how many questions I get. If I only get a handful, I'll just come into one video and do my best. But yeah, ask me anything you like. Could be about gambling, could be about other things, could be about myself personally, could be about whatever you want. It could be silly, could be serious, whatever. Just ask me a question. I'll go through them. I'll make a list of them. I'll make a video, multiple videos, whatever it is, and I'll get back to you soon. But until then, enjoy the sunshine. Stay safe. Stay sane, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers, guys.